Okay, welcome to part 2 of my Predators review. Uh, if you haven't seen part 1 yet, watch part 1, because I'm picking up pretty much right where I left off. Walter Goggins, who plays Stans, he is a convicted killer and rapist. FBI 10 Most Wanted. He was 2 days from being executed when the Predators abducted him and dropped him off. He's fucking hilarious in this film. There's one scene where they were throughout this movie. They don't overdo it too much, but they kind of try to recreate scenes from the first Predator film. You know, not like direct recreations, but they get a lot of the same dialogues, and there's echoes. And what they basically, though, it was kind of a joke with this scene, because they started with, how Mac and Dillon, Mac and Dillon in the first film, they start having the whiskey and having that conversation about the good old times, and there's a somewhat equivalent where Stans is there talking to or Walter Goggins' character is talking to Topher Grace. Yes, Topher Grace is in here if you weren't aware, and to some degree this is, I think, partial revenge. I took this for Spider-Man 3's Venom, what happened to him, but I digress. So Walter Goggins is sitting there, and they're starting to talk about what they're going to do when they get out. And Walter Goggins he's going on his list, and all of a sudden said, "Then I think I'm going to go rape some bitches." And it probably doesn't sound good coming from me, but his delivery on this is like, "Oh yeah, I'll go around rape some bitches." It's hilarious. Just the way he delivers the line, and in the context. And I like Topher Grace's reaction as well. He's like, "Oh yeah, 5 o'clock rolls around. Well, I always go out and rape some bitches." It's hilarious. But his character, not Topher Grace, but Walter Goggins' character, Stans, he winds up shanking a predator in this movie. Yes, you heard that right. He shanks a predator in his prison gown with or prison, whatever you want to call it, prison jumpsuit, with a regular shank. That's all he has throughout the entire movie. And at points he's constantly, "Come on, guys, give me a gun, please." All he has throughout the entire movie is his shank. And at one point, there's other characters that have like miniguns and automatic shotguns and like dual MP5s. They don't kill any single predator, and he gets a pretty good look at one with a frickin' shank. And in case you're worrying, oh my god, how this movie has to be. I can't imagine how they would pull off shanking a predator in a good way. Trust me, they did. Nice glass of water there. What else? Yes, actually the entire cast, they did a really good job casting. Most of these guys you will recognize. They're not big name movie stars, but you'll recognize them from television. I mean, we have Danny Trejo. You've seen in films. He's been in anything Robert Rodriguez he's been in, including this film, which, while not directed by Robert Rodriguez, is a Robert Rodriguez produced film. Obviously Lawrence Fishburne. I mean, he's now big in TV with CSI. Like I said, Goggins. I think that's how you say his name. The Shield, Grace, That 70s Show. Adrian Brody. At first I was concerned that they cast Adrian Brody for this movie, especially as the main character, because he didn't. He's supposed to be the successor to Schwarzenegger, and to a lesser extent Danny Glover. Although I guess it's really not that hard to match up to Danny Glover's character, who is, mid-40s police sergeant in LA in the second movie. It's physically it's not as hard to match up to that. But of course, Adrian Brody, he's the guy he's the pianist. But he was, he does have some action chops from being in King Kong. And he surprised me in this film. I actually bought his mercenary persona. He did a decent job as that. I really can't say too much because I just bought it. I didn't think too much about him being this mercenary character. He did a pretty okay job. I should talk. I know I'm talking about the cast here, and I want to talk about especially the samurai fight with a predator. I will get to that. And if you haven't seen this, I should have spoiler alerts, shouldn't I? I mean, I really didn't spoil anything too much. I gave a couple of character things away, and I really didn't describe the shanking of the predator in too much detail, so it probably will come as a surprise. From this point on, spoiler alerts. Strangely, most people watch films or watch these reviews after they've seen the movie. That's a weird thing nowadays, but I'm digressing. Where was I on? That's bad of me. I already forgot. I should go into the titles because I think a lot of people just thought, oh, Predators, it's like Aliens. They just added an S to it. To some degree, yes. Only this film actually does. There is a play with that title because it's Predators, not just because of the predator race that's out there. Each one of these characters is basically shown to be a predator of some sort. They hunt down other people. Every person in this movie is a predator in that they go after other people. You obviously have the predators themselves and their little monstrous attack dogs, which were not a bad addition. But you have Adrian Brody, whose character he basically relays that he's a mercenary who works alone and hunts down individuals. Like I guess you'd hire him to, like, I don't know, if a local warlord is harassing you, you hire Brody and he will go in there and kill that warlord for you. I mean, he's kind of poetic about it, how that's basically what he has become. Topher Grace, his character, it's not really. I don't want to say this is a major spoiler, although I gave the spoiler warnings already, because they released this in all like the publications and promoting this movie that he's actually a serial killer. In the actual film, it's not made this clear. It's not throughout most of the film. You're not sure why. They kind of ask this question. Why is this guy here? Because he's just, he says he's a doctor, and he seems to be legitimately a doctor. So they're kind of perplexed why he's here. Towards the end of the film, he finally reveals, he's a serial killer. So obviously Predator. We have Isabella. She's a sniper, Israeli sniper, so she kind of hunts down people. Goggins, he's a rapist. I'm assuming a murderer as well. You have the Russian Nikolai, who was actually pretty cool. He's another guy. I can't put my finger on where he's from, but I've seen this actor around as well. Like I said, that's what happens a lot in this film. It's people that you go, that guy, I've seen him in films, but I can't recall where. So you have him. He's a Spetsnaz that was in Chechnya. To some degree, he's actually probably one of the nicest guys in these characters. He's probably the nicest. We have Lawrence Fishburne's character, which in the trailers you'd think he was like going to come and help, and he turned out to be this long veteran in there. And that's what he is, but he's not as helpful. He's in there for a pretty short while, actually. I thought he was going to be like a major character in this film. He provides some useful narration, but what he actually turns what they call, he's a scavenger. He survives on this planet mainly because he kind of gets, surprisingly, we're almost done with this one. We're almost at 10 minutes with this one. So even though I'm at 9 minutes, I'm going to make this the end of part 2, and this is going to be a 3-parter at least. Possibly 4. I can keep on going with this film. And I want to make sure all the Fishburne stuff is together in one thing. So we're going to move on. It's going to be part 3. Click on it.